What's going on, guys, and welcome back. We have another deck to do today. This is one I was actually pretty excited with. I've just been messing with ideas until the format kind of develops and we see what truly emerges and where the meta stands. But today it's a Sapphire Steel combat focused deck. So I called it Combat Control. Again, it's ramp, it's steel, and it's actually been a lot of fun. Things like Cogsworth obviously giving characters resist, and then you have Robin Hood, Calhoun, things like that, where they get you lore for taking out your opponent's character. So we actually hit the Robin Hood shift and Smee. We have the Azurite C otherwise too. I actually really like this hand. We are going second into Ruby Sapphire, so we probably want to be a bit more aggressive. They'll probably come out with like Popsicle on 1, so if we go Robin Hood 1, Smee 2, Shift Hood 3, Cogsworth is going to be a little less impactful here because they're not going to be really challenging into us very hard. So we're going to actually keep our hand. For this one, they missed the Popsicle, they don't have it. We definitely don't need 2 Cogsworth. Again, not really worried about them challenging us in this deck. They have the removal and the attack-based things like the Medusa, the Brawl, stuff like that, where unfortunately it's just not going to help us out a whole lot having resist. The debate here now, do you ramp, do you get a card you want, or do you just get aggressive? We're going to go and be aggressive with it. I want to get that Smee out there and force our opponent to respond to our board. I don't want to start playing the long game this early. Their hand size going down pretty quickly. Really no threats at the moment. We're not going to be able to deal with that Sisu for a little bit, which is also okay. Here now, we have enough questing power to be a little aggressive. We're going to get rid of that, play a Popsicle. We can go ahead and draw a card. You could argue we should have waited, but at the same time, I knew we weren't going to end up using 2 visions anyway. I'm going to take a turn to ramp here because we're not really threatened in a board state sense. Jim Hawkins really nice when you want to go on the aggressive and be the challenger. In this case, we're not really doing that. We're up to 4 ink where we're pretty content at the moment. The deck peaks out at 6. Ideally, you still go to like 7, 8 range. That's the whole point of the blue engine, is ramping. In addition to Cogsworth though, and being able to go aggressive with like Smee, Shift, Hood lines, you have Popsicle for healing. We are playing Baymax, which allows healing and getting that extra lore. Again, the Cogsworth with resist, Calhoun with resist. The deck does a lot of really nice things. So we'll get another turn of Smee here, and then if our opponent decides to crash the Tipo, that would be smart. Actually, we're going to get rid of the Tipo. They'd have to crash the Sisu. We'll come back with Baymax, heal the Smee, and then get the extra lore. That would have been the only argument really earlier that we should have kept a Cogsworth because not healing, but Smee avoiding that damage. So there's a few routes here. Do we challenge into it with the Smee? I don't think you do. You You shift the Robin Hood. Come on. Take out the Tipo that way. We can go ahead then quest out, and again, if he crashes the Sisu, that's fine. We don't really have a different way to deal with it. We have a pretty aggressive start on our opponent. They got the 5 ink. They got to ramp a little bit harder. A Medusa here would be pretty strong. Take out our Robin Hood, but even that's not necessarily the end of the world. Having the Baymax option, so our opponent just unfortunately opened pretty poorly. Calhoun not going to be inkable. We will ink the vision here. Now we can quest, get us up quite a bit. So we'll go up to 14. Baymax is going to come down low and heal that Smee and put us at 16. And we're going to essentially win on our next turn. We will play one more, and then we will go get a couple other decks and show you guys just how the deck functions. We'll do a Hyper Agro one for sure, and then one other match. I'm not sure which one yet. We'll see what speaks to me when we get there. This opening was just really unfortunate. That's why I want to do one more here, because it was not a very great example. Your Baymax there then too. Just the continued healing and being able to get you that lore. Like, this card puts in so much work here. We'll try. Okay, our opponent's going to go second once again. We'll try this one more time. Let's see if they open a little bit better. Get some interaction for us. Our hand's not as good. Again, especially without that Smee line, we're not going to keep the Cogsworth. I don't want to keep the Calhouns because, challenging the Tipo, I guess, is one thing. We can get to Baymax later. You don't really want it very early. Even Beast, too. But I'm going to keep the Beast as potential ink if needed. So we hit... Oh, Vision likes our hand this match. They missed the 1-drop again. We hit lots of ramp, like a lot of ramp. Not going to need all of it. So let's go ahead and get our Robin Hood down. 2 comes down. Are they going to TPO? No, they go for the C, so the extra draw and the extra ink. We're going to kind of copy them and do that as well. We have the Vision, there's ink. Calhoun comes down. Can't really get aggressive though, so that's a little unfortunate. We'll play the C, we get the draw. Well, that's a good ink card to ink, so that's the one thing going for us. We could have inked, say, something else and then played the other hood just to get another character on board. I don't think that would be the ideal scenario. Still no, both hands, they must have just opened unfortunate. That's kind of annoying. So actually here, we're going to go ahead and work on our sequencing. We're going to play the C to get that extra draw. It's an uninkable card, of course. Just trying to see if we could get a better card to ink instead of, say, going like this and inking your Cogsworth. Now we can go ahead, play Vision. Let's see, none of those are that insane. Smee helps us get aggressive, or we could just ink. I don't necessarily want to just extra ink. If we're gonna extra ink, this card's not going to be very helpful long term. Trying to stay up on that ramp. Going up to 5, so we're actually ahead of our opponent in the ramp game. Pretty equal card advantage wise too. I mean, opening multiple C's like that is just free. So they get the Quill down, now they're going to get the quest, now they're going to get their engine rolling, see how much draws they can start going, some more items, another Quill. They're going to go to 7, they will. So yeah, now they're starting to build it up. An Ice Block, just another free 2 cards for the Hiram. We have options though. We have options. Baymax pretty good too. We're going to, let's see, they have 1 card in hand. They're going to draw 2. We're going to slap the beast down and we will see what they get. Could have arguably challenged there because then next turn we could just completely take out the Hiram, especially with Baymax being able to come back and heal us. So 8, Sisu, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Getting those draws then, and where are we going to go? We're at 5. Oh, not ink, not ink. 2 to 3, we have time. We do have to answer the Sisu though. If we gonna play how far. I don't want a whole new world this opponent. Let's ink the Popsicle, get a Calhoun down. Not in a great spot, I'm not gonna lie, but we can get rid of that Sisu. The draws though are what's gonna hurt, and Medusa is also gonna hurt. So next turn we'll see if we get hit by it. Opponent goes draw. Now would be a great time for a bend to my will. Too bad we're not playing Emerald here. So at least this ended up being a little bit better of a replay to, see what's going on. Okay, so I'm actually going to keep the Tinkerbell, get rid of the other. Do we come back with the Smee or the Pete? Let's go Pete just to slow them down a little bit. Calhoun, we're going to put 3 on the Hiram because if we put it on the Sisu, we would just, die. And then Sisu attacks into the Calhoun, takes it out. We play Tinkerbell, gets rid of the Calhoun. Pete then can finish off the Hiram, but he does have 1 more, so we're not in a great spot still. They quested instead, which means Pete can take it out. Calhoun can take out this Hiram. Or I shouldn't say Pete takes it out. Pete puts 3 on Sisu. Tinkerbell finishes off. So we will go Pete into the Sisu. Got to get that threat out of there. The game is not over yet, especially if they don't hit a if they don't hit an item to be able to draw. That'll help out a lot. Tinkerbell's really going to put in some work in this next turn too. Let's see. Do we really want to ink it all? Not really. Let's throw another Calhoun down and see what our opponent does. That hurts a lot, but yeah, that hurts a lot just from where we're at a lore standpoint. How can we do 2 extra damage? How can we do 2 extra damage? Tinkerbell's going to do 2 to it, but we could use a bit more. That's not going to be enough. That'll be 1. Which also means, but we want Tinkerbell to take out the Hiram. So we're just not going to get the lore. We get 2, 2, 4 into it. Doesn't do anything to it. Is that the better play? We're going to try it. We're going to go Calhoun into each T-post so we can get some lore in the process. Tinkerbell into... Oh, just kidding. Sequencing, sequencing, sequencing. Almost missed it. You play Tinkerbell first. Someone would have pointed that out in the comments. And you absolutely should. So we take out the Hiram. Then we get to put the 2 on the Sisu. Unfortunately, like I said, we don't take it out. So he will go to 18. And we're threatening what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're threatening 16 of our own. And now how do I get 16? If they quest at the Sisu, we challenge with our Calhoun. But we might actually have to challenge with the Tinkerbell instead. Because Tinkerbell to splash damage. Hiram's not going to be able to quest for 2. Ooh. That's a card. Okay. Sings it, though. Or wait, they had to sing it. Okay, so now... That might have actually been better. Was that better? Probably not, because this Medusa is going to hurt so bad. So let's get the card we get the most value on if they don't have Medusa. So they had the Medusa. Shocker. Let's see. 6, 3. Let's go ahead and go ahead. So what? Attack, attack. We got 1 turn. Maybe 2. 17. Go to 17. Nope. We got 1 turn. Okay. How can we win in this turn? I don't think we can. We have to get rid of an item. That B prep was just huge. So if we Smee attack the Medusa, because even if we were able to get rid of that, it would not matter. Hood will get us the 2 lore. We go to 11. Play the Baymax. Heal the 2. Get the 2. Why didn't you do that first? Well, I knew the deck. I knew there was nothing that would help me there. So really close, actually, to clawing our way back. That looked pretty bleak, I'm not going to lie, for a little bit there. And we clawed our way back and almost were able to win the game. Almost doesn't really mean a whole lot, obviously. But, so the deck can be pretty resilient. Obviously, you're going to lose to things at certain times. And let's go to a Hyper Agro. And we will... I want to go second. I want to show it on the draw. Or on the draw. We'll let Hyper Agro go first. We want to be on the draw. So we want lots of characters. I like the hood shifts, and I like Smee on 2. Tinkerbell would be really nice, but we're not going to keep it. So we have turns 1, 2, 3 here, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. We're going to probably ink the... Ooh, do we ink the Vision? Vision dig for like Calhoun could be really strong. We don't need 2. And we're not going to need the Baymax. We're not really going to have to heal ourselves in this matchup. So that's why Baymax can kind of go away as ink early. We want to at least get those first 2 characters down though, because Smee can trade with a bodyguard. I don't need to outrace them. I just need to beat them. Let's see. Do we want the ramp or the Vision? I think the ramp would be better. But we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get Smee down on 2, and now next turn we're gonna start doing other things. They do have Zombie Lililo, so that's offers a weird interaction with the deck, where it's not necessarily bad, but the way the AI plays it, it always brings it back. So it's just, you know, going to be beneficial that way. That actually wasn't too bad, because now we'll have to lose our Robin Hood, except they don't know what we know, and what we know is that we can shift Robin Hood. I think this deck just bodies Hyper Aggro incredibly well. Like your challenge sets, your folk, like this deck just takes them out so well. Like Smee and Calhoun on 2 just wreck Hyper Aggro. You don't even need things like Grab Your Swords. Obviously, like Robin Hood 2 is just really, really crazy strong there. Let's see, we got another Smee. We're not going to be able to play the Cogsworth for the ramp yet, all this turn at least. Jafar offers a nice little draw engine, so let's go ahead, get that down so he can start going next turn, get rid of one character. It's going to come right back, so Piglet's still going to quest for 3. Comes back, like I said, play another character potentially anyway. I mean, if they didn't bring it back and had 4 ink, they'd probably play a character, so there is that. But now we can go ahead, let's say what do we want to ink? We don't really need the draws or the ramps. Like our hand is just set. We already won this game. Then we're going to go ahead and challenge. We'll only take the 1 damage here, but we'll get the draw. And then we don't quest. We'll challenge again. And this is where Cogsworth is just so good because we don't even take damage now from like 2/3 of his deck. We don't even take damage from because they all have 1 strength to begin with. So resist 1 is just crazy strong in this matchup. Ooh, Tiana. She's actually pretty strong. Not worried about actions. Do we want a Tinkerbell here? What does Tinkerbell here really accomplish? Tinkerbell here means take out the Tiana easier. Let's do it this way at least. Let's get rid of the 2 Lilos. So we get our lore, we get our card draw, then we know what's in our hand and we can decide what we would like to do. So, would be let's see. I'm going to just go with the how far. And we will, what card do we want to grab? Quest out and pass turn. Yeah, like I said, the AI always brings one. That's actually pretty good. So 2 to 15. We almost have to win on this turn actually though. Because if we don't, we'll at least take out all 3 of these threats. So this would be option number 1. Well, not option, but card number 1. So 6 takes 2. Okay, we can do it. We just got to pay the ink to not lose our strength. Oh, we missequenced that. Missed sequencing there. Should have attacked with the champion last. Then we'd get our 2 lore. Sitting here talking and not paying attention. Make sure you pay attention. Get our card draw. Take out the other one then. And we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we still don't technically have enough to win though. But if we ink, play a Smee, we're in a spot then where we can just control the opponent's board. As long as they don't hit things like Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom. That card would be very difficult to get around because it's just the guaranteed 2. So the last thing we would do here is play the Whole New World. Get rid of that. Again, we should be at 12, which would have been 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Had we sequenced last turn properly, we would have been able to just quest out and win this turn, but we didn't. So nonetheless, we're going to keep them off the board, get our card draw, take out the other Lilo, not take any damage. Like I said, this match is virtually free. I shouldn't say that because this game actually was semi-ish close. Play that. We'll just pass. Like I said, we're both of them come back. But again, I wish I knew the hand because like if it has gold or gathering strength and knowledge, you would not bring these back. You would just play them, like ink a card and play both of them. That's just how it would go. Anyway, though, we're going to quest with the Cogsworth. So on the draw versus Hyper Agro, you still should have a pretty good chance because you have a lot of characters early and your characters plus you. So Yzma, Merlin, and so they did have the goat, but even the Donald, like you just play the 1 and bring the other one down. I mean, it wouldn't really change anything, but we'll get one more game. What deck should we go against then? We got Combat Control. Let's go against Steel Song or Repeat. We did Ruby Amethyst. Let's go against Repeat. Random. Ooh, we get to go first for one game. So against Amethyst Steel, I don't like keeping uninkable cards ever. 6 cost cards too high. Baymax I don't like to keep. Early threats, what do they typically play? Like Diablo, Chernabog, potentially Robin Hood or Broom, things like that. Jim Hawkins, I like the 4, and the inking is actually is going to be okay. We'll keep Beast once again, just because if we have to ink it, we can ink it. So we hit Popsicle on 1. Not going to care about the Jafar in this matchup as much. The draw is really nice, but Jafar just shines in that hyper aggro matchup because it kills everything in one swing, and then you're just like draw. And especially if you don't, or if you have your Cogsworth down, it's just like, okay, I'm not even taking damage from any of this. They didn't hit their 1 on 2. You're probably looking into things like Smee, Jim Hawkins, Calhoun, Snake, but they don't have a character, so Snake is off the board. Having the Popsicle to heal our Smee also is pretty nice. Oh, there's the Calhoun. Luckily, Smee will trade with the Calhoun. What do we want to ink here? Let's ink our Tink. I want to play Vision. I want to get a good card in my hand. Ooh, Calhoun's actually really good. Robin Hood without the shift, which is okay. 2 turns out. We got the How Far I'll Go, as those are going to put in work. Let's actually grab the other Beast. Quest for 2. Calhoun's going to crash into the Smee, take them both out, which is okay. If I can trade with a Calhoun like that, I will. I think that's a fair trade-off. The resist 1 just sucks to deal with usually. Comes back with his own Smee, so here we go. That won't be too bad to deal with. So we could actually go Popsicle, or do we let the Smee just kind of quest for a couple turns? I think we do, at least the 1. Not too worried there. Let's grab our Cogsworth, get the card in the ink. Cogsworth's going to be really nice in this matchup. So Calhoun comes down then too. So Smee, take 1. We can slap a Beast on 2 Calhouns. That's rough. Luckily, we'll trade with it pretty efficiently. Don't need the gym at this point. I mean, you could have argued you ink for turn. You play the How Far I'll Go. He gets the +4 then. So Calhoun. Smee's going to take 1 more damage. Has the rabbit for the draw. Get our double draw. Obviously, that's going to be nice. Now that changes it, though. We're going to play Tink. Get some damage on everyone else. Get that Smee off the board is the main reason. I shouldn't say everyone else. Let's see. We don't need the other draw, though, do we? Or do I quest to 4, let Calhoun double trade? Will they Calhoun double trade? I don't know. I'm going to ensure that we get at least one of them out of there, though. I don't feel like I need the other draw at the moment. Double Cogsworth, again, could be nice, but I want to get to like 7, 8 ink before I truly start backing off on my inking. I do have the How Far I'll Go, though, so I'll probably pull off the gas now. Calhoun probably takes out the Beast. So Tinkerbell would have put damage on Beast anyway. So we trade both Calhouns. That's fair. Let's see. What can we do here? 7 ink. Well, we can take out the rabbit, put 2 on the Tink, which, oh, almost hit pass. Put 2 on the Tink, like I said. Then we can go ahead, play the Baymax, get 2 off of the Tink. Now Tink would trade with Tink, or we could actually Popsicle heal. Let's go ahead and do that. Because now our Tinkerbell won't even die if he decides to go after it. And again, we're at the 7, so I don't need to ink here. We'll get that Jim Hawkins down. That actually shuts down the play we were gonna go with our Jim getting the challenger. Can return the favor with a Pete. So let's go ahead, Tink into Tink. You're gonna see the beauty of Baymax here in a second. He's evasive, so we want to put the damage there. Then Baymax can quest, although I will say, Pete still will take it out, but we get the 2 lore anyway, so it's like we quested with our Tink. That's just so broken. quest there. Let's see, we're at 7. Should have threw the Cogsworth down, actually. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Play the beast. I really hate like doing this all just live. Like trying to focus on talking and being informative and not misplaying is something I struggle with. It's like when I used to stream playing. It's just like I'd make mistakes and it's just like, oh, and I'm like, oh well, I don't care that much. So we're in a pretty good spot, 14 to 9. We got 5 on board. We can bring it 14-14. Let's see. Can throw Cogsworth down in case they try challenging or doing anything like that. Do we need the Jafar or do we go with the how far? I'll go probably the how far. We're in a pretty commanding spot where we'll win next turn. Our opponent goat bounce goat's pretty much the only way that they're going to be able to. Let's see. Keep the Baymax for the utility of potential. Play the how far. Let's see, what do we want? Let's grab Cogsworth. And pass. So they really need to answer a lot. That's not going to do it. They pretty much would have to go like goat, bounce goat, and quest out for the game. The moment you see them play a card like that, it always feels really good because we have more than enough to win. So that is going to be our last little quick replay for the game. Like Baymax is insane. Like the recurring healing that gets you the lore, Baymax and Cogsworth, it's just, it almost feels not fair. I don't really know another way to do it, but we're going to go ahead then and we will jump into the deck profiles. So I will see you guys in a second. 3, 2, 1. And here we go. So $375 is the rough cost of the deck. We're only playing 12 uninkable cards, and we have a pretty neat curve here. You see everything is actually relatively low except for our 2s and 5s, but we're playing a ramp deck, so that 5 doesn't really feel like a 5. On turn 1, we're only playing Robin Hoods, at least character-wise. The other card I considered was Captain Hook, and it just felt like too many times, especially late game, Captain Hook was not pulling his weight, so we took him out. He's truly only helps out Smee anyway. Instead, going for the Popsicle, because Popsicle can also help out your Smee by healing it by 2. It draws you a card, and it can heal other cards, so I just felt like Popsicle was more beneficial to the deck and how it wanted to function. We have Calhoun then. This card is insane. Like, if you have to go challenging, you have, like, Calhoun, Jim, Robin Hood, Shiftline. Heck, I mean, even Smee's a 3/3. You don't have to worry about the questing for 2. Like, look at the 3/3 body, and that's all you really need to know. Like, this deck challenges very, very strong, and that's why we call it combat control. Like, the deck is really, really good. Pete, because as nice as resist and all this other stuff is, be prepared still hurts. Some late game blowout cards like that still hurt. So Pete being able to shut down actions into certain matchups feels really good. Sometimes you don't want to get wheeled, so you want to throw that Pete down if you're not going to be able to recover or benefit from the wheel very good. Other times you might actually be like, I'm okay if they want to wheel me. I'm going to ink this Pete. So the 4 Pete, just so when you, in the matchups you want it, you see it more consistently. In the matchups you don't, which is most of them, you just ink it. And it's a 3/3. So 3 strength is just really big. Jafar being another draw engine card, so every time you banish a character with him in a challenge, you get a draw card. Put him in there as a 2 of. Baymax is absolutely broken, insane, crazy. Yeah, you should get this card. This card's probably one of the better cards in the set, right there with Calhoun, and I'm super, super excited for it. Like, this deck has been so much fun to play test. What you guys saw is just a very, very, very small sample. The gaining lore and the healing is broken. The fact that you gain lore from it feels like you're cheating. Like, that's how good that is. Cogsworth then, obviously, like, the resist is just crazy. Also 5 willpower, questing for 2. Not a bad little guy to have there. Beast is more draw power, multi-quester, just a threat and a house if he has damage. Robin Hood Shiftline, we already kind of mentioned it. And then Tinkerbell helps with aggro, especially being able to ramp up and get to her quicker. And just the splash damage to help peck away at bigger threats even. Because most of your characters have like 2 or 3 strength already. So if you can splash 2 damage onto them from your Tinkerbell, or even like the 1 when she comes down, all of a sudden that 2 or 3 turns into like 4 or potentially 5 because of the splash. And it's just really good. Sail the Azurite Sea. This card is crazy. We're playing it because not only do you draw a card, you get 2 extra ink for the turn, and we want to be able to ramp. Then you have your Vision. It's just a consistency card. Looking 5 cards deep is just, it's crazy. Pretty much any Sapphire deck should be playing this card. Pretty much. Not always. 8 songs. Whole New World. Keeping up those card resources. I don't know how prevalent discard's going to be, but sometimes you run lower on resources because we don't have the Hiram item engine rolling. So the Whole New World there to refill your hand when you need to. You also have shift lines. You could play it as soon as turn 3. How far I'll go. It's our other ramp card because it's also a consistency card, and that obviously you get to look at 2. So unlike One Jump Ahead, where you don't get to see what goes into your inkwell, this way you know what goes into your inkwell, so you're not guessing, you're not wondering. There's no randomness to this. You get to know everything that goes into your inkwell. And like I said, you get to look at 2 cards, put 1 in your hand, 1 into your inkwell. That's free. Literally free. It's a plus. Popsicle, again, the healing, really good. The card draw, really good. Helping with your SME because, you know, you quest, take a damage, quest, take a damage. Then you can quest, pop your pop, heal the 2 damage, and all of a sudden you get to do it all over again. Your 1 SME can go for 10 lore if your opponent can't deal with it. But anyway, this is the deck, the basic rundown of it. I think this deck actually has some potential. I hope other people pick it up and try it. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Don't forget 5,500 subscribers by January 29th. We started to slow down a little bit, but I know we can do it. Last time we set a goal like this, it was actually a bigger goal, and we met it in less time. So January 29th, 5,500 subscribers, and we will do our second case giveaway on the channel. Thanks for watching, guys.